After working 2 jobs to save for a house, I found out my dad had secretly taken out a loan in my name, gambling it all away. When I broke down crying, he said, "You owe me. I raised you." At the family barbecue, I exposed everything with a single printout of the loan documents. Relatives lined up to scream at him, and he had to leave town that night. I bought my first home a month later, without his name anywhere near it. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who cuts off their own parent. But I did, and I don't regret it. I'm 28 now. I've spent the last 4 years working myself raw. I worked full-time at a logistics warehouse in Indianapolis and picked up deliveries for Instacart and DoorDash almost every night after. I was saving every cent. No vacations, no new clothes, no streaming services, just saving. I wanted a house. Not a mansion, not a luxury condo, just a simple place with a small yard and a driveway. I wanted something that was mine. After everything I'd been through growing up, that dream meant more to me than anything. My mom died when I was 16. Cancer. It was fast and brutal. After that, it was just me and my dad. He didn't always handle things well, but he kept a roof over our heads, and I thought he was trying. He told me all the time, "It's just us now, kid. I'll take care of you." I believed him. He knew I was saving for a house. I talked about it all the time. He would ask how close I was and nod like he was proud. "You got your mom's work ethic," he'd say. I thought we were good. We weren't rich, but I never thought he'd screw me over. Turns out I was wrong. A few months ago, I walked into a bank to get pre-approved for a mortgage. I had just over $48,000 saved. I was nervous but excited. The lady behind the desk took my ID, typed for a bit, then looked confused. "Are you aware of the $70,000 loan on your credit?" I laughed. "No, that has to be a mistake." She didn't laugh. She showed me the screen. I sat there in silence while she explained that the loan had been taken out about a year ago. It was in my name, my social, my birthday, my address, everything. She gave me a printed summary and told me I needed to call the fraud department. I walked out of that bank and sat in my car for at least half an hour, staring at nothing. I called my credit card company, then pulled up my full credit report. There it was. A massive personal loan with a ballooning interest rate marked as in repayment, but behind. Collections were looming. I saw the trail of transactions. The money had been withdrawn in chunks at ATMs. Then came the worst part, bank statements that tied the withdrawals to known casino locations in Indiana and Illinois. I still didn't want to believe it, but deep down I already knew who did it. I only had one person in my life who had access to my personal info. One person who still got mail at my place sometimes. My father. I went over to his apartment the next day. I still hoped there was some kind of misunderstanding. Maybe someone stole both our identities. I walked in. He was watching a game on TV, eating wings. I didn't waste time. "Dad," I said, "did you take out a loan in my name?" He didn't even pause the game. "Yeah." Just like that. No shame. No apology. Just yeah. I asked him why. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I just wanted to know why. "You owe me," he said, like I was stupid for asking. "I raised you. I fed you. Put a roof over your head. This is what parents are supposed to get back." He said it like it was obvious. I started crying. Not a few tears. Full-on sobbing. My knees gave out and I sat on the edge of his old couch, shaking. I couldn't believe this was real. The man who took care of me after Mom died had just destroyed everything I worked for, and he didn't even think it was wrong. I left. I didn't scream. I didn't make a scene. I just went home and sat in my dark apartment, staring at the wall. The next few days were hell. I called lawyers, filed fraud claims, pulled every document I could find. It was going to be a long fight to prove it wasn't me who signed those papers. But I wasn't just going to eat the debt. Then, 3 days later, I got a group text from my aunt reminding everyone about the big 4th of July family barbecue she throws every year in Terre Haute. I hadn't planned on going. I didn't even feel like pretending things were okay. But then something inside me clicked. If my dad thought I was just going to take this, pretend like nothing happened, he was wrong. He was still walking around, seeing everyone, smiling like nothing happened. Like he hadn't stolen from his only child and thrown her under a financial bus. I spent the next few days getting everything in order. I printed every single piece of proof I had. Credit reports, loan documents, ATM withdrawals, a notarized statement from the bank manager who had reviewed the footage of who came in to sign the papers. It was him. I made a small packet, neatly stapled, clean and simple. On the day of the barbecue, I showed up quiet. I said hi to everyone. I didn't make a scene. I waited. I let everyone eat, laugh, drink. My dad was there, flipping burgers like he was father of the year. Then, when most of the adults were sitting around in camp chairs with beer in hand, I stood up. I need to say something. Everyone looked at me. I know most of you know I've been working 2 jobs to save up for a house. I've been working almost nonstop for the last 4 years. I finally went to apply for a loan and found out someone had taken out a $70,000 loan in my name. They used my info and forged my signature. Then they gambled it all away. Silence. That person was my dad. Gasps. Someone dropped a plate. My dad didn't say anything. He just stared at me like I was a stranger. I held up the packet. I brought proof. My aunt took it first. She opened it, flipped through, her face going pale. Then my uncle grabbed it. Then my cousin. It was like wildfire. Then the shouting started. "What the hell, Bob? You stole from your own daughter? She's been working her ass off and you do this?" It got worse when someone said, "This is fraud. You could go to jail." My dad tried to speak. "It's not what it looks like, cut the crap, Bob." He looked like he was about to argue, but then saw the look on my face. I didn't flinch. I didn't say anything. I just watched. He walked away, got in his truck and drove off before dessert was served. That night, I got calls from half my family, all furious with him. He apparently packed a bag and left town that same night. I haven't seen him since. But this story isn't over yet. After the barbecue, I thought it was over. I really did. My dad was gone. The truth was out. I was dealing with the loan mess. The fraud report was in, and the bank was working with me after seeing the footage and hearing my side. It was going to take months, but there was progress. Then 2 weeks later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I usually ignore unknown numbers, but something told me to pick it up. "Hello. Hey, it's me." It was my dad. I didn't say anything. "I just wanted to talk," he said. "I think you made a mistake going public like that. You embarrassed me. You made me look like a criminal in front of everyone." I almost laughed. "He was a criminal. Because you are one," I said. "I'm your father," he snapped. "You should have come to me privately. Family doesn't do that to each other." That's when I lost it. "You stole from me. You ruined my future and didn't even apologize. And you're calling me to say I embarrassed you?" He went quiet. Then he said something I'll never forget. "You've always been ungrateful. Your mom spoiled you. If she were here, she'd agree with me." I hung up. After that, I blocked his number. But he didn't stop. He started calling relatives, telling them I was being dramatic, that I made up the story to punish him for being a strict dad. He even told one of my cousins I forged the documents myself to get sympathy. Luckily, most of my family had seen the proof. But a few didn't know what to believe. My cousin Haley messaged me saying, "I'm not taking sides, but maybe this should stay private." I texted her back, "He made it public when he stole my identity." That shut her up. Then things escalated. I got a letter in the mail, a formal notice from a debt collector. Somehow, the loan company hadn't frozen the account yet. I was officially in default. My credit score dropped by 110 points in 1 week. I drove to the bank the next morning ready to scream. But the manager, Deb, a real no-nonsense woman in her 50s, sat me down and explained the process. "We flagged it as fraud," she said. "But these things take time. You'll have to keep dealing with the credit agencies. We're doing what we can on our end." I thanked her and left. That night, I broke down. I didn't even make dinner. I just sat on the floor of my apartment and cried. I had done everything right, worked hard, paid my bills, stayed out of trouble, and still, I was drowning. Then I thought about Mom. She would have told me to stand up. So I did. I fought harder. I hired a lawyer. Not cheap, but worth it. He helped me send a cease and desist to the debt collector and filed official complaints with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and the FTC. He also found out my dad had opened another credit card in my name 6 months ago. It was maxed out for $1,000. That was the final nail. We sent everything to the police. I didn't want to press charges. Not at first. But the more I uncovered, the more I realized he never saw me as his daughter. Just a wallet. My lawyer told me, he's a repeat offender now. This could go to court. I said, good. The last straw came when I was closing in on getting the fraud removed from my record. I was so close to getting my mortgage approved again. But then one morning I walked out to my car and saw the windshield smashed in. A brick on the hood. No note. Nothing stolen. I checked the security footage from the building's outdoor camera. It was dark and grainy, but I swear I saw his truck. I showed it to my lawyer. He said we needed to report it immediately. We did. Now I'm not just fighting for my credit. I'm fighting for my safety. This isn't over. And I'm not going to let him walk away clean. A week after the brick incident, the apartment complex manager called me into her office. She looked uncomfortable. You need to see this, she said, holding up her tablet. It was more footage. Better this time. A man had been snooping around the building a few nights earlier. Face mostly hidden by a hoodie, but the way he walked, it looked just like my dad. Broad shoulders, heavy steps, always favoring his right leg from an old work injury. But the giveaway wasn't just the way he walked. It was what he left behind. After creeping around the back of the building, he left a paper stuck in the mailbox for my apartment. It was a handwritten note on an old grocery receipt. I'll never forget what it said. You got what you wanted. Don't take this any further, or I'll make sure you regret it. That was it. No name. No signature. But I knew. My lawyer knew. The cops knew. We took it in as evidence. But unless they caught him in the act, there wasn't much more they could do. The most they offered was extra patrols in the area. I started sleeping with a bat next to my bed. Then came the next twist. Out of nowhere, I got a message on Facebook from a woman I didn't know. Her name was Marcy. She looked to be in her mid-40s, blonde, tired eyes, worked at a truck stop diner from the look of her photos. Her message was short. Hi, I think we need to talk. I used to be with your dad. I stared at the message for a while before replying. She sent me her number. I called. She answered on the first ring. She said they'd dated on and off for the last 2 years. He'd told her he had a daughter, but said I was a selfish brat who refused to help him after hard times. Claimed I kicked him out and turned the family against him just because he borrowed a little money. Marcy told me she dumped him after he started borrowing her credit cards. She got suspicious, looked into his past, and found out about my story through a distant cousin who was at the barbecue. I'm sorry I didn't reach out sooner, she said. But I thought you should know he's been talking about getting even. I asked her what that meant. He said you ruined his life. Said if you want war, you'll get war. I didn't think he meant anything serious at first, but after seeing your windshield, I'm not so sure. I thanked her. I asked if she'd be willing to give a statement to the police. She said yes. That same week, I got an email from the mortgage officer I'd been working with. The fraud dispute had finally been resolved in my favor. My credit score jumped back up almost overnight. I was approved again. I was one step away from finally closing on a house. But it felt unfinished. I wanted my house. I wanted my peace. But now I also wanted justice. My lawyer suggested we file for a restraining order. He also started pushing the police harder. With Marcy's statement, the threatening note, the forged accounts, and now the vandalism, we were building a real case. Then came one more twist I didn't expect. The day before my closing, I got a call from my dad's sister, my Aunt Carol. She hadn't been at the barbecue because she lived down in Louisville, but someone had sent her a recording of the event. She told me she'd recently seen my dad. He was staying in a trailer with an old friend outside of Paducah, Kentucky. He's falling apart, she said. He drinks all day, says you betrayed him. He's convinced this is all your fault. I didn't say anything. Then she added, I think he's planning something. I found a burner phone and a list of names in his room. Yours was at the top. I asked if she'd give that to the police. She said yes. That's where things stand now. I close on my house tomorrow. But I know this isn't over. Not until he's held accountable. Not until I'm safe. The day I closed on the house, I didn't cry. I didn't cheer. I just signed the papers, shook the agent's hand, and walked out with the keys in my pocket. It felt like reaching the end of a long, bloody marathon with no one at the finish line. It was a quiet 2-bedroom in a sleepy suburb outside of Indianapolis. Clean floors, new paint, a small backyard with a leaning fence I planned to fix myself. It was everything I wanted and everything he tried to take from me. That night, I slept there on an air mattress, with a baseball bat next to me and my phone charging within arm's reach. Around 3:12 a.m., I heard a noise. Something sharp. Glass. I sat up fast. My heart was pounding as I tiptoed to the front window. The porch light had burned out earlier that day, so it was dark. But in the faint orange glow from the streetlight, I saw it. His truck, parked down the block. Engine off. Just sitting there. I called the police right away. They told me to stay inside and stay on the line. Officers were nearby and would be there in minutes. Then the doorknob started to turn. Soft at first, then harder. Jiggling. I held the bat in my hand and backed away. Then came the voice. Let me in. You owe me this. After everything I gave you, you ungrateful little, his voice cracked. You took my life from me. I just want what's mine. I stayed quiet. I didn't move. I could hear his breathing through the door. Then flashing lights painted the walls red and blue. He tried to run. He didn't get far. They tackled him on the front lawn, face in the dirt, screaming my name like I was the one who ruined his life. The officer asked if I wanted to press charges. Yes, I said. Every single one. The charges were serious this time. Identity theft, harassment, trespassing, attempted burglary, and destruction of property tied to the earlier vandalism. When they searched his truck, they found another brick, a crowbar, and a gas can. He had a plan. He wasn't just trying to scare me. He wanted to ruin the house before I could ever enjoy it. Maybe worse. He ended up in jail. No bail. The judge called him a danger to the victim and the community. At the trial, I took the stand. I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I just looked at him, and for the first time in my life, I spoke the truth to his face. You didn't raise me. You used me. You saw me as an investment. And when I didn't give you a return, you tried to destroy me. You gambled away your own life and tried to steal mine. I won't let you. He didn't look up. Not once. He got 6 years. That was 2 months ago. Since then, I've finished painting the house. I replaced the fence. I planted a small garden under the big oak tree out back, just like I always dreamed. Sometimes I sit out there in the early morning with coffee, watching the sun hit the flowers. I'm not naive. I know this story doesn't end in peace. Not really. I still have nightmares sometimes. I still triple-check the locks before I go to sleep. But this house is mine, and he'll never set foot in it. Not now. Not ever.